Welcome along to Open House. As you can see, I'm surrounded today by a huge range of produce, and it all has one thing in common: it's all organic, grown therefore, reared or produced without any artificial aids. Just a helping hand from good old Mother Nature. Now, in today's show, we're taking the organic path to hopefully a better lifestyle. And later in the kitchen, international chef Raymond Blanc provides the cooking tips for a mouth-watering organic asparagus dish. Absolutely yummy. Then former Coronation Street star, lovely Thelma Barlow, crops up to praise organic gardening alongside our green-fingered expert Stefan Buchatsky. And there's also a chance for you to win what I think is a great prize. It's a year's supply of organic food in today's competition. But first, time to introduce our special guest, who's going to be with us right throughout the programme this afternoon. Now, she's an extremely accomplished actress, successful film producer, and a fervent champion of the organic lifestyle. And I know you're going to give a very special open house welcome to Trudie Styler. How are you, Trudie? Lovely to see you. Okay?
Good to see you. Great. Maybe you had a pop-up on this one.
Thank you. I decided not even to have any organic coffee for you today, just good
girl.
Old H2O. How
I'm
about
impressed.
that? Now, as I mentioned, you're going to be staying right throughout the programme. We've got various points of view, of course, to represent, some for, some against. But I'd like to know where you stand and where your passion really began.
My passion began as a little girl, really. I was brought up in the country and my mum only gave us very fresh vegetables, and she claimed there was nothing sprayed on them, and my father had been a farm manager on a very simple, small farm, and the crops were grown very naturally. And 8 years ago, I just decided, having had 3 kids at that point, to make the move to the country and to become pretty much self-sufficient ourselves.
And we know that you fight for the environment as well. So is there an element of the environment alongside the health issues?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, you know, I believe, and it's my belief, that we're poisoning our soils when we put agrochemicals into them. And I know it takes more time, but it's as easy to grow crops that don't have pesticides or soil that's fertilised. It just takes a bit more time.
So obviously, I mean, you've got quite a bit of land at your house in Wiltshire, and how much of that have you actually converted, which I understand is for your own use, basically?
Yeah, we have 60 acres that have now been converted for 6 years, and we've just bought 110 in which we've planted a lot of trees, and we're trying to grow trees organically and flowers organically too.
You see, I think when some people think of organic, they think of food only. But obviously you're looking at the whole thing, as you say, the flora, fauna, all of that. And I take it that you've also taken your organic expertise into cows, sheep, so that actually all your meat and everything's organic.
Yeah, we raise all our animals naturally, and we use their manure for making compost. And you know, organics is a cycle. It's the plants and it's soil and animals, and they work in harmony. It forms a cycle to nurture very healthy crops.
I can't see in the compost heap somehow.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love mulching.
Get the welly boots off and they're on, and off you go. Now, are you completely self-sufficient in terms of what you eat at the house?
We're self-sufficient at Lake for 2 months of the year, I would say. We're trying to improve that by having polytunnels, those big sort of greenhouses with plastic roofs, and we probably by next year will be 3 or 4 months. But when we run out, I use a local organic producer. Sunnyfield.
I noticed, for example, in the paper today, which is something we'll pick up in our discussion later on, a couple of the supermarkets have been hammered, you know, with a news headline talking about the taste, saying that it hasn't been proven that the taste is better. Oh. So where do you stand in terms of championing the whole thing?
Well, I think the food does taste better. I think it's sweeter, richer flavours from the vegetables. And I do have guests who come down and say, oh, that's such a sweet carrot. And I say, well, because it's an organic carrot. But that's my personal belief.
And do you eat ordinary food, what we call ordinary food, that hasn't been treated organically?
Well, I do. I try not to be obsessive about it, and I try not to, you know, instill obsessiveness into the children either, because I think, you know, at the end of the day, when you look at Italy and France and their statistics for degenerative diseases, they're less than ours, and scientists are now looking at their way that they can relax and eat. You know, English people, sad to say, we're all eating on the run too much, but in places like France and Italy, they celebrate the lunch time. And so I don't want to sort of, you know, go out to lunch and sort of think, oh, is that organic, and get too picky, because then you don't enjoy your food.
So it's a balance.
I think it's a balance, and not to be obsessive, yeah.
Because funny enough, I was in France quite recently, and we went to one of the very famous street market, you know, in Vence, and I couldn't see anything that resembled an organic label. So I don't know whether it's actually as you know, as popular there as it is even in this country.
No, but conversely, that because they do grow so much fresh stuff, that they don't think they need to label in any case. And the same is true in Italy.
It's interesting. Anyway, I'm glad you're staying with us today. We have many different points of view to raise. So truly, for the moment, thank you very much. Thank you. Now, as you know, for